If you got less than $20,000 saved up, you're really one big emergency away from being broke. If you got less than $20,000, you're really walking a thin tightrope with no safety net underneath, because you're exposed not only to the economy, you're exposed because the student debt repayment has restarted, and it's going to hurt a whole lot of people. A whole lot of people are going to be hurting. Not only that, the stock market has been in an all-time low. People's 401ks turn to 301ks, 201ks. Some people losing so much money, they cracking up. Not to mention the tariff wars. Your president started a tariff war. The things that you would normally buy, they're now at 100 and 150% tax. A tariff is a tax, and it's taxing those things you normally buy to take all that money away from. The last thing you want right now is to be without money, out of cash, in case of a big emergency happens. Studies show that 20% of Americans don't have $20,000 in their savings. So that's telling me 80% of Americans have less than $20,000 saved. So if you fall into that 80% that don't have $20,000 saved up, this video is for you. I have a few things I want to share with you on what you can do to save up to $20,000 as fast as possible. Let's get into it. Maybe you starting from zero, you don't got nothing saved. Or maybe you even got $2,000, $5,000, maybe even $10,000. You got $10,000 saved already. But I want to give you a powerful formula to get you started to save $20,000 as fast as possible. First thing I want you to do, to get that $20,000 savings as fast as possible, track your spending. If I ask you, well, how is your savings coming along? Do you have the $20,000 saved? You say, nah, I'm good. If you say I'm good, I'm going to say you could be better. You can be better. How? Track your spending. Basically, it's looking at everything that's coming in and you track it. You see where everything that went out, where did it go? Okay, well, I paid this much for the car note. I paid this much for the rent. I paid this much on food. I paid this much on entertainment. When you tracking it, you can understand where all that money went to. And once you see it, you can say, wow, I spent that much on food. Wow, I spent that much on gas. And when you track it, you can have an understanding on where all this money went. I'll give you a good example. Me and my wife, we make good money. And at the end of the month, we like, oh man, we should have so much more money left. Then we started tracking our money. We said, whoa, wait, hold on. And if you watch some of my videos, you know I love to eat. Man, we get Chinese food and we get carry out, and then we go to the restaurants and sit down and eat our dinner and have the snacks and all this stuff. And we looked at all the things that we did and the money we spent, and we tracked it. It was like, wait a minute, $2,000, $500 last month on food alone. Wait a minute, hold up. On carry out, that's too much money spending on carry out. So that's where the budget comes in at. Once you track your spending, you can see what you can cut out. You can see what you can take out, because a budget is telling you, okay, you did the tracking of your spending. Your budget is telling you, okay, you can take out all that carry out. Get that Chinese food once a week. You can do it once a month. Hold on, once a month. Yeah, once a month. You can get the Chinese food once a month. You can get the Domino's once a month. You can get all this takeout and carry out once a month, because you're spending over $2,000, $2,500 a month. You can cut that out and fund that $20,000 emergency fund if you don't have it already. And that's where your budget comes in at. Once you understand what you are spending your money on, you can make a budget saying, okay, I'm going to cut down on A, B, and C. I'm going to cut down on this carry out. I'm going to cut down on this gas I'm spending in my cars. I'm going to cut down on all these things that I'm doing that I don't have to do. Listen, you want to save that $20,000 emergency fund as fast as possible? You have to do some cuts, and the cutting might hurt. Just know that there's always healing after you do a cut, because I want you to have that $20,000 cushion as soon as possible. Once you track your spending and created a budget, the next thing I want you to do is clear your debt. Clear your debt. Pay off all the debt that you have as soon as possible. Because if you don't pay off your debt, that debt is going to try to suffocate you. That debt is going to try to take you out. That debt is going to try to stop you from getting that $20,000 emergency fund. So when I say pay off your debt, start at the bad debt. When I say the bad debt, what's bad debt? Bad debt is credit card debt. Bad debt is your mortgage payment. Your car note is a bad debt. So when you pay off your debt, pay it off as soon as possible, because bad debt is a wealth killer. It's taking away that money that you could be funding your $20,000 emergency fund. It's going to be taken away from you experiencing that life worth living instead of living a life for survival. So when you're paying off that debt, start with the smallest one as possible. It might be your light bill. I know some of y'all got that light bill that's in arrears. Some of y'all got that credit card bills in arrears. Start with the smallest one as possible and start paying it off, because you already did a budget. You know how much money you got left each month? Pay off those debts, because a debt-free living is a carefree living. A debt-free living is a worry-free living. I'm going to tell you by example, and I'm going to give you this example. If you're out of debt and you don't owe anybody nothing but love, you can sleep better at night. The car's paid off. Your house paid off. Everything is paid off. You don't owe nobody nothing. You can sleep better at night. That's why I'm telling you, pay off your bad debt, because bad debt is a wealth killer. I said it already. It's a wealth killer. It's taking away that money you could be using for investments. It's taking away that money that you can put in there, even if it's a savings fund that's giving you interest. You can just put that money and set it there, and it'll gain you interest. That bad debt is taking away all that money. It's going to kill your progress of getting that $20,000 as soon as possible. But once you pay off that debt, you clear that debt out, not only that $20,000 will come faster than you think. You're going to be looking and saying, well, I got this extra money. What am I going to do with it? Invest it. What I got to do with this money? I'm going to give some away. That's why I'm telling you, pay off that debt as soon as possible. The next thing I want you to do is to make a commitment. Commitment to what? Commitment to the idea or the notion that I'm not going to go back into bad debt on this journey to $20,000 of an emergency fund. And once you make that commitment and have that mindset, no matter what happens, don't go back into bad debt. You just got out of bad debt, but don't go back into bad debt. Doesn't matter what is the reason. Don't go back in bad debt. You might need a new car. Don't go back into bad debt. You might need something for the house. Don't go back into bad debt. If you can't pay cash, you got to wait till you pay cash, and don't go into bad debt, because bad debt is a wealth killer. You're already on this journey to $20,000. You already did your budget because you tracked your spending, and you know how much money you got left each month. You got $2,000, $3,000 left each month. And by the time you get to this point, you made the commitment, you're not going back into bad debt. I'm not going to let you go back into bad debt. That's why I'm doing these videos. You're not going to go back into bad debt because you're on that journey to $20,000. Now, if you got $20,000 already saved up, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to those people who are still on this journey to get the $20,000 saved up. Because bad debt is going to kill your progress for this emergency fund. Some of y'all might need $30,000 in the emergency fund. Some of y'all might need $50,000 in the emergency fund. Whatever I'm telling you now, just increase it. Whatever I'm telling you now, just expand it. You got to expand your mind. And when you expand your mind with this commitment that you're not going to get back in bad debt, because it's just going to push you back even further from when you started. Because once you start this commitment, you also got to be committed on financial education. You got to educate yourself on these finances, because once you start making this money and putting this money to work, you're going to have more money left over each month. After you get the savings, after you get the emergency fund funded, you're still going to have money left over. What you going to do with it? While are you on that journey, you educating yourself. While you on a journey, since you educating yourself, you're going to find out what you're going to do with the excess money that you have, because you already budgeted, already tracked it, already know what to do, because you canceled out all that bad debt. You just got money just waiting around for instructions for you to tell it what to do. And once you tell it what to do, you're going to say, well, I got the education. I said education. I got the education on what to do with you now. I can give you instructions. I can tell you to go out and duplicate yourself. You better come back with more twins, quadruplets of yourself. You're telling a $20 bill to go out into an investment portfolio, and when you come back, you better come back with 5 more 20s or 25 more 20s, and when you come back, deposit it into an account, go back out and make some more. That's what financial education will get you. It give you not just the information, it'll give you revelation of what to do with your money after you get this $20,000 emergency fund, because the more you learn, the more you'll earn. And you also got to commit to cutting your expenses to the bone. You got to commit to that, because if you don't commit to cutting your expenses to the bone, it's going to take you longer to get that $20,000 emergency fund. But when you commit to cutting your expenses to the bone, it's going to hurt. Yeah, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt not eating that Chinese food once a week. It's going to hurt not eating that Domino's once a week. Yeah, I love food. I'm talking about what's going to hurt for me. You could talk about where it hurts for you. It might be a purse. It might be a new car. It might be something else. But you got to cut it to the bone. And once you cut it to the bone, it's going to heal itself. How it's going to heal itself? Once you get that $20,000, yeah, once you get that $20,000 emergency fund, and you got that extra money each month, and you're not in bad debt, and you just got money just sitting there waiting for you to give it instructions, all that cutting is going to be healed. And you're going to be like, wow, I got this money left over. What I'm going to do with it? You're going to invest it. What I'm going to do with all that money I got left over? You're going to give it instructions on what it to do. That's why I'm making these videos for you. I went through this. Since I went through this, I came out on the other side. I went through bankruptcy. I went through foreclosure. I almost lost my mind because I didn't know what I was doing. But I was doing what I was supposed to do after I got out. And what is that? I made some commitments to get out of bad debt. I made some commitments to financial education. I educated myself on what to do with this money because I already got my emergency fund. What do I do with the extra money? Financial education told me to invest it because once you learn, you can make more money earned. And once I understood that I cut everything to the bone, cut my expenses to the bone, even though it's going to hurt, when it heals, you're going to be living the life worth living that you never dreamed of. So depending on where you are, it might take you a month to get that $20,000 emergency fund saved, and it might take some of y'all 18 months. It might take some of y'all 2 years to get that $20,000 saved. Don't let that discourage you. Don't let it discourage you. Because some of y'all might just need 3 months of an emergency fund. Some might need 6 months or 12 months, depending on your finances, where you living at, how much you need to sustain you for those months, just in case. Because just in case is a big thing. Because everyone is different. It's just everyone is different. I just want you to finish strong by getting that $20,000 saved. If you only need $5,000 to sustain you for those 6 months, you got extra $15,000. Invest it. If you only need $10,000 to sustain you, invest the other $10,000 and get interest off that money. But I want you to have $20,000 saved. Why? Because it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. And that's why I'm making these videos. I want you to leave a comment below. Do you have your $20,000 emergency fund saved? And if you do, let me know, how did you do it? How did you accomplish getting that $20,000 saved? Leave in the comment section, because I'm not here just speaking for myself. I'm speaking to you to help you get knowledge and information and sometimes revelation on how to create this life worth living instead of living a life of survival. And in the comment section, y'all be leaving some good questions. Some of y'all be leaving some good comments. And even some of y'all be giving me some tips. So I want to thank y'all for watching this video this far, and let me know where you at on this journey of having your $20,000 emergency fund saved.